No one tells you this, but most men who think they're lazy aren't. You're not lazy. You're just exhausted from living a life that no longer fits the man you were meant to become. You've mistaken burnout for weakness. But here's the truth. What you feel isn't failure. It's unused potential. This video isn't hype. It's a map, a way out, a mirror that reflects 7 Stoic truths, the kind most men only realize when it's too late. If there's still a flicker in you, if something deep down knows you were built for more, you need to stay. Because this isn't about surface-level motivation. It's about waking up the part of you that's been asleep for too long. You're not unmotivated. You're uninspired. Somewhere along the way, you stopped chasing what ignited you and started surviving what numbs you. That's not laziness. That's quiet, despair. You let your fire die slowly by calling comfort peace, by calling stagnation balance, by shrinking just enough so no one would question you, including yourself. But in the silence, alone, at night, in the mirror, you feel it. That whisper, is this all? The truth is, what you've labeled as laziness is just power left unclaimed. Discipline isn't your issue. You just forgot where to aim it. But that ends now, because the version of you watching this, he's not soft. He's not broken. He's just unfinished. If that hits you, drop a comment. I'm done pretending, because your comment isn't just feedback. It's a signal to every man fighting the same war in silence. And if you stay till the end, you won't just learn how to break out of the loop. You'll remember what it feels like to truly come alive. Let's begin with Stoic Truth 1. Truth beer, you're not lazy. You're living below your fire. You keep telling yourself you'll start tomorrow. That one more day won't hurt. That comfort isn't killing you. It's just a phase. But deep down, you know what this really is. It's not a break. It's a slow, quiet surrender. A retreat dressed up as rest. A decision to delay the life you were built to live because it's easier to wait than to face the cost of becoming who you were meant to be. There's a moment every man faces, not when the world falls apart, but when he realizes he's the one falling, not loudly, not visibly, just silently fading behind the mask of daily routine. You're not broken. You're not lost, but you're stuck. And stuck is more dangerous than failure because it doesn't alarm anyone. No one questions you, not your friends, not your boss, not even you, until the mirror reflects a version of yourself that no longer commands your respect. You think you're tired, but it's not exhaustion from work. It's the exhaustion of knowing you're not living at full volume. The weight isn't from what you're doing. It's from everything you've left undone. The vision you've abandoned, the strength you've ignored, the fire you keep dimming so others feel more comfortable, and that silence inside you, that's not peace. It's the sound of a dream, suffocating. You've been waiting for clarity, waiting to feel ready, but readiness isn't coming. The path you're looking for doesn't appear until you walk it. The fear won't vanish until you face it. And the future you want? It doesn't belong to the man you are now. It belongs to the version of you who's willing to earn it. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live." That's the fear you've buried. That one day you'll wake up and realize you never truly started. That all the hours you spent planning, overthinking, delaying, none of it brought you closer to becoming the man you swore you'd become. You've survived, but have you lived? Have you fought for your potential? With the same intensity you fight to stay comfortable. This isn't a motivational speech. This is a challenge. A confrontation with your reflection. The man in the mirror is waiting for you to stop postponing greatness and start embracing pain, not as punishment, but as the currency of transformation. No one is coming to hand you discipline. You have to take it. You have to bleed for it. You have to trade comfort for clarity and fear for forward motion. This is your moment. Not next week. Not when life slows down. Now. Right now. Because every minute you wait is a minute you never get back. The longer you delay the work, the harder it becomes to believe you were ever capable of it. So take the pain, take the discomfort, take the hard path. Not because it's glamorous, but because it's yours. It's the one that leads to becoming unrecognizable to the man you used to be. No more pretending you need more time. No more convincing yourself that next month will be different. This is the beginning. Not of a dream, but of a decision. To rise, to act, to finally stop existing and start living. Truth too, comfort is a drug that numbs the soul. Comfort is a liar. It tells you that you've earned your rest, even when you've done nothing to grow. It whispers that you're fine just the way you are, even when your soul is starving. It promises peace, but delivers numbness. And the more you believe it, the more you lose. Not all at once, but in quiet increments. You don't wake up one day and realize you've wasted your life. You feel it drip, slowly, through every excuse, every skipped workout, every dream delayed in the name of taking it easy. You think comfort is a reward. But the truth is, it's a trap. A velvet cage. It doesn't feel like failure because nothing explodes. Instead, everything just slows down. Your ambition fades into background noise. Your edge dulls. And the things you once said you'd fight for, they turn into memories of a man you thought you'd become, but never did. That's how comfort works. It doesn't destroy you violently. It seduces you quietly. And one day, you realize you've been choosing easy, while life's been choosing hard for you. You keep saying you're trying to find balance, that you just need time to reset. But you're not resetting. You're retreating. You're using comfort to cover up the friction between who you are and who you were meant to be. But that friction is your compass. That discomfort you're running from, that's where the gold is. That's where the growth lives. And every time you choose ease over effort, you bury the parts of yourself that could have carried you forward. Here's the truth. Comfort is not your ally. It's your rival. It doesn't care about your potential. It wants you sedated, distracted, entertained enough to forget you were once hungry, once dangereux, once willing to risk, looking foolish for the sake of becoming something real. Comfort wants you to settle, but life wants you to evolve. And evolution hurts. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." You've imagined that discomfort will break you, that hard things will humiliate you, that failure will destroy you. But those are lies. What's really breaking you is standing still. What's humiliating is pretending that mediocrity is enough. And what will destroy you, if you're not careful, is waking up 10 years from now realizing you played it safe and no one, including yourself, respects who you became. You weren't made for soft repetition. You were built to carry weight, to enter pressure and refine under it, to sweat, to bleed, to rise. But that version of you will only emerge when you stop negotiating with comfort. It's not that you don't have what it takes. It's that you've been choosing what's comfortable over what's necessary, and comfort never creates legacy. Comfort never builds resilience. Comfort doesn't change your life. Discipline does. So the next time comfort whispers to you, "Take it easy," You need to ask yourself a harder question. Is easy making me proud of who I'm becoming? If the answer is no, then it's time to stop protecting your feelings and start protecting your future. Truth 3. Every minute you wait, you lose power. How many dreams have you quietly buried under the word someday? There's a myth you've been sold your entire life. That waiting doesn't cost you anything. That you have time. That delay is neutral. That postponing your purpose until later somehow preserves it. But the truth is, every day you wait, you lose something. Not always something visible, but something permanent. You lose sharpness. You lose edge. You lose clarity. Every hour you spend circling the same excuses, you trade momentum for self-doubt. And it doesn't happen dramatically. It happens silently. You stop trusting yourself. Not because you failed, but because you never started. You stop believing that version of you who once said, "I will," and you become the man who only says, "Someday." But someday is a thief. It steals your fire. It steals your urgency. It convinces you that time is this endless runway you can drift down forever. But time doesn't drift. It disappears. And the longer you wait, the more expensive your dreams become. Not in money, but in identity. Because the man you could have been, he won't wait forever. Eventually, he leaves. And all you're left with is a life that looks fine from the outside, but feels like quiet betrayal on the inside. You tell yourself you're being patient, that you're thinking it through, that you're being responsible. But most of the time, that's not patience. It's fear wearing a mask. Fear of discomfort. Fear of judgment. Fear of looking like a beginner again. But here's the truth. What you're really afraid of isn't failure. You're afraid of proving to yourself that you could have done it, and didn't. Seneca said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity." You've avoided adversity in the name of planning, but what you've really avoided is growth. And now you're restless. You feel it every time you scroll past a man who's living what you once envisioned. You feel it every time someone asks, "What happened to that idea you had?" And you smile, like it's no big deal, while something inside you breaks again. Delay doesn't just cost time, it costs trust. Your own trust in yourself. And when a man no longer trusts his own word, even his goals lose meaning. You can't build discipline on a foundation of hesitation. You can't build strength while negotiating with weakness. And you can't build a future if your default setting is later. So let's be real. How many mornings have you woken up and said, "This is it," only to end the day with nothing changed? How many seasons have passed while you prepared, but never pulled the trigger? How many times have you said, "When the time is right," as if time ever waits for your permission? You're not stuck because of your circumstances. You're stuck because of your decision to delay decisions. And that's a cost you can no longer afford. You don't need more information. You don't need a sign. You need to stop bleeding potential into the soil of tomorrow and plant something real today. Not perfect, not polished, just real. Because the cost of delay isn't something you'll feel today. You'll feel it in 10 years when you realize you were the only one who never showed up. So, if you're still waiting, ask yourself this: what exactly are you waiting for? Approval? Certainty? A perfect day? Because the clock doesn't care, and neither does your potential. It's already packing its bags. Truth 4. Pain is inevitable. Choose the one that builds you. What if the easy life is what's actually breaking you? Life is hard. That's the truth no one wants to hear. But it's the truth that will set you free. It's hard to be disciplined. It's hard to be lazy. It's hard to wake up early and grind. It's hard to sleep in and wake up ashamed. It's hard to build something from scratch. It's hard to live with nothing that's truly yours. You don't get to escape the hard, you only get to choose it. But most people never consciously choose. They drift into their hard, into the regret-filled version of it. They don't choose the pain of working out, so they inherit the pain of poor health. They don't choose the discomfort of growth, so they inherit the quiet ache of staying the same. And day by day, year by year, they convince themselves they're making life easier, when in reality, they're just paying the price in installments. You think you're avoiding suffering by avoiding challenge, but the suffering you avoid up front shows up later with interest. And when it does, it costs more. Because by then, you've lost time, self-respect, and belief in your ability to change. That's the hidden price of ease. It doesn't stay cheap. It compounds. Hard isn't the enemy. It's the currency of transformation. It's how you earn clarity, how you earn peace. Not by avoiding the pain, but by proving to yourself that you're stronger than the voice inside you telling you to quit. Growth is hard, but so is staying stuck. You just have to decide which hard you want more. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you seek tranquility, do less, or do what's essential." He wasn't telling you to relax. He was telling you to stop scattering your energy, to stop doing what's easy just because it's available. You're exhausted not because you're doing too much, but because you're doing too little that actually matters. You're not burned out. You're underpurposed. There's a version of you that wakes up early, not because he's obsessed with hustle, but because he refuses to live one more day beneath his potential. A version that doesn't wait to feel motivated, because he knows that showing up when it's hard is what makes him unshakable. That man isn't immune to pain. He just stopped asking for the pain to go away. He chose his pain, and in doing so, he reclaimed his life. What most people call discipline is actually liberation. When you train your body, your mind gets sharper. When you choose to eat clean, your confidence grows. When you sit in silence instead of scrolling, your vision clears. These choices are hard, but so is looking in the mirror and not recognizing who you've become. You say you're tired, but ask yourself this: are you tired from effort or from avoidance? Are you tired from grinding or from shrinking? From taking the hill or from circling the same valley, pretending it's your home? You will suffer either way. You will bleed either way. But one version of you bleeds for freedom, and the other for nothing. So stop asking whether it's hard. It is, and that's the point. The only question that matters now is this: are you willing to suffer for what will set you free, or will you keep paying the price for a comfort that's quietly killing you? You were made to carry something heavy. Make sure it's the weight that makes you stronger. If you've ever paid the price for choosing what's easy, type "no more delay" in the comments. Not for me. For the next man scrolling by, who needs to see that strength is contagious. Truth 5. Let pain shape you, not shatter you. Most men spend their lives avoiding pain. They treat it like the enemy, like something to dodge or suppress. They see pain as punishment, as a sign they're doing something wrong. But that's the lie. Pain isn't your enemy. It's your instructor. And if you listen, it will teach you more than comfort ever could. Pain sharpens what comfort dulls. It wakes up the parts of you that have gone numb from routine and repetition. It doesn't show up to destroy you. It shows up to expose what's still soft, what hasn't been tested, what needs reinforcement. But you can't learn its lessons if you keep flinching every time it knocks. You think pain means you've failed. But failure without pain is empty. It's pain that makes the failure real. Because it forces reflection. It forces ownership. And in that reflection, you either find excuses or you find yourself. You say you're in pain, but ask yourself this: is it the pain of growth or the pain of staying small? Because both hurt, but only one leads somewhere. The other just loops you through the same patterns, the same cycles, the same quiet agony of knowing you could have been more and chose not to be. Epictetus once said, "Difficulties show what men are." That's the invitation you've been running from. Not a trial to prove you're weak, but a stage to reveal your strength. Not the end of you, but the edge where the next version of you begins. The pain isn't the signal to stop. It's the signal that you're in the exact place where transformation becomes possible. Most men don't quit because it's hard. They quit because no one's watching. But real change happens when no one claps. And you still show up. Look back at every breakthrough in your life. It didn't come from ease. It came from discomfort, from heartbreak, from sweat, from moments where you didn't know if you could go on. But you did. You think strength is built in calm, but it's built in storms, in the heat, in the tension, in the repetitions no one sees, and especially in the days you don't feel like showing up, but do anyway. Pain doesn't ask if you're ready. It asks if you're willing to stay when it burns, willing to stand when it stings, willing to feel every bit of what's hard without letting it harden you. Because pain doesn't want to make you bitter. It wants to make you honest. It strips away the posturing, the ego, the masks, and what's left is real, raw, resilient. You're not fragile. You're undertrained. You haven't been broken. You've been untested. And pain is offering you the opportunity to step into your becoming. Not because it's cruel, but because you can't be who you're meant to be and remain who you are. So stop asking for an easier life. Start asking for the strength to carry the one you've got. Let pain teach you. Let it burn away what's weak. Let it introduce you to the parts of yourself you've never met. Because they only show up in the fire. Pain will find you no matter what. But if you meet it head on, if you study it instead of curse it, if you learn to breathe through it instead of run from it, it will leave something behind. A leçon, a layer of grit, a deeper understanding of who you are when everything comfortable is stripped away. You want to be unshakable? Then learn from what shakes you. Truth 6. The life you want won't wait for you. If the future you want met the man you are today, would it open the door? No one is coming to give you your future. Not because the world is cruel, but because the world is indifferent. It doesn't care what you dreamed about. It doesn't care how much potential you have. It only responds to what you do. And most men go through life waiting, as if success is some delivery they're entitled to if they just stay patient. But the future doesn't arrive. It must be earned, daily, repeatedly, and often in silence. You think you deserve more. You think you were meant for something greater. Maybe you're right, but the question isn't what you deserve. It's what you're willing to become to get there. The future isn't a prize you wait for. It's a war you show up for. And the ones who win are not always the most talented. They're the ones who outlast their doubts and outwork their comforts. You don't rise by waiting for alignment. You rise by aligning yourself with discipline, with purpose, with repetition. And that's where most people fall. They wait to feel ready. They wait for signs. But clarity doesn't come from standing still. It comes from movement, from action, from throwing yourself into the arena and letting the bruises teach you what the books never could. Marcus Aurelius wrote, Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. That quote isn't gentle. It's a command. You want a better future? Be better now. Lead now. Discipline now. Decide now. The world won't hand you legacy. You must build it, brick by painful brick, while no one's clapping, while no one's watching, while every part of you wants to quit. That's the price. You say you're overwhelmed, but most of what overwhelms you is imaginary. 1,000 unfinished plans, a dozen what-if scenarios. But the future is built one action at a time, one workout, one conversation, one moment of restraint when your ego wants to explode. It's not grand, it's not loud, but it's how you become undeniable. Every future you envy was earned in moments no one saw, early mornings, repetitions in silence, saying no to the easy path, not lashing out when you were disrespected, showing up on the days you wanted to disappear. Those moments are the currency. That's how the future is paid for. Not in vision boards, but in invisible victories. Don't confuse potential with a promise. Just because you're capable doesn't mean you'll get there. You still have to climb, still have to bleed, still have to outlast the lazy version of you who keeps whispering that maybe next week will be different. You want different? Then be different. Act like a man who's already earned what he wants. Carry yourself with the weight of someone who doesn't have time to waste anymore. Because time won't wait, and neither will your future. It's either being built right now, or it's being buried. So, ask yourself this: when it's all said and done, will your life be the result of what you earned, or a reflection of what you waited for? If you want to become unbreakable, start by becoming undeniable. Not by shouting louder, but by doing the work no one else is willing to do, long after they've stopped watching. Truth Yeti, you're not broken, you're just unfinished. What if the feeling of not enough isn't a flaw, but a calling? If you're still listening, it means something inside you hasn't given up, and that matters more than you know. Because the truth is, the very fact that you're uncomfortable, restless, unsatisfied, that's not weakness. That's your soul resisting mediocrity. That's your body telling you there's more. And the ache you've been feeling? It's not from being broken. It's from being underused. You weren't meant to drift. You weren't built to exist in a haze of distractions, comfort, and half-effort. That unease inside you is sacred. It's not there to haunt you. It's there to awaken you. It's proof that your potential hasn't died. It's just been waiting for you to stop running from it. Stop numbing it. Stop pretending you're fine living beneath it. Most men wait for some mythical sign that they're ready. But readiness isn't gifted. It's earned. And what you've forgotten is that everything you've been through, the doubt, the delay, the pain, the setbacks, it didn't disqualify you. It prepared you. You think you're behind, but you've actually been gathering fuel. You think you've wasted years, but you've been learning in silence. Every scar is a signature. Every failure, a footnote in the story you're finally ready to write. Seneca wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." That's the truth no one wants to tell you. You can't become the man you're supposed to be without bleeding for it, without burning, without choosing the hard path when no one's watching, and choosing it again when no one's clapping. You want a life that feels meaningful, then embrace the weight that makes it so. Carry the discipline. Swallow the pride. Wake up early. Do it when you're tired. Forgive without applause. Keep your word when no one holds you accountable. Not because it's flashy, not because it pays off instantly, but because it's who you are, when no one's watching, that builds the man the world will one day respect. This isn't about perfection. It's about power. And real power is quiet. It doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't need validation. It just moves. With conviction, with consistency, with the kind of inner strength that doesn't flinch when life gets loud. You were made for this. Not because you feel ready, but because you're willing to rise anyway. Because you're done waiting. Because you're tired of handing your story to fear. Because you know, deep down, that every man reaches a moment where he either chooses comfort and slowly dies, or chooses discomfort and finally lives. So this is your moment. Not to change everything overnight, but to pick up the first weight, to face the first hard truth, to take the first step you've avoided for too long. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need a plan with every detail mapped out. You just need to begin with what you have, where you are, right now. Not because it's easy, but because it's yours. The climb, the wait, the fire, all of it. You were made for this. So prove it. Quietly, daily, relentlessly. Not to them, to yourself. If something in you stirred while watching this, don't ignore it. That unrest you feel, that quiet ache, it's not a flaw. It's not weakness. It's your soul resisting mediocrity. It's the part of you that refuses to settle. And if you're still here, still listening, it means you haven't given up on yourself. Not completely. That matters more than you know. Because in a world full of men who numb themselves with distractions, you stayed. You leaned in. That makes you different. This message wasn't meant for everyone. It was meant for the few who are done waiting. The few who are tired of pretending. Tired of being polite when they should be powerful. Tired of explaining themselves to people who were never meant to understand. You don't need more inspiration. You need reminders. You need a tribe. You need fire that keeps burning even after the video ends. That's why this channel exists. Not to entertain you, but to arm you with words that cut deeper, with truths that don't flatter but forge. When you subscribe here, you're not just signing up for videos. You're stepping into a movement, one where silence isn't weakness, it's command, where pain isn't punishment, it's preparation, where discipline isn't restriction, it's freedom. And by being here, by choosing this content over the noise, you're not only upgrading your own life, you're helping make these insights accessible to men who are just like you. Men who've been dismissed, overlooked, underestimated. Men who are tired of being ignored, tired of the friend zone, tired of living lives they quietly resent. You're telling them, you're not alone. There's another way, and it begins now. So, if this resonated, don't just disappear. Subscribe. Comment below. I'm done waiting. Let the next man know he's not the only one walking through the fire. Because together, we're not just building better lives, we're building better men. Quietly, daily, relentlessly. The kind of men the world may not understand, but will eventually have no choice but to respect